Legalized pot is just a few months away, but new rules surrounding driving while under the influence isn't expected to come into effect until at least December. In the interim, police forces across the country are scrambling to get their officers trained, including here in Toronto, where only a handful of Toronto police officers are trained as drug recognition experts. Toronto Police only have 15 trained drug recognition experts, or DREs. Now that number is growing, but the program is long and complex and requires officers to be trained in executing a battery of tests, including collecting toxicology samples. Bill C-46, which sets out new thresholds for THC levels, the psychoactive element in marijuana, while driving, is in front of the Senate. If it passes, DREs are expected to be used more frequently. Drivers would be tested with oral swabs to detect how much THC is in their system. And while that could spell more of a high for one person to the next, even Mad Canada isn't in favor of an absolute zero approach.
You also have to allow some margin of error for these instruments to measure against. If you simply use zero, you might be picking people up that have a drug in their body, but it had no effect on their driving ability.
Toronto Police Constable Clint Stibbe says Toronto has been preparing for legalized recreational use for some time and has trained hundreds of officers on delivering standardized field sobriety tests, tools that are easier to learn and execute in the field.
They do have the tools in order to place a person under arrest based on the criminal code, which allows an officer to place a person under arrest that may be impaired by a drug, an alcohol, or a combination of the two. We're going to have you just do walk the line, but what we're going to give you is a pair of goggles that will put you in a state visually being impaired, I believe in the 150 range, which is about double the legal limit. And then you're going to see how it makes you feel and how the disorientation will take over, and then the kind of things that you'll exhibit while trying to walk the line.
9. Oh my gosh, this is crazy difficult. It's a dizzying experience, and I showed pretty quickly that I wasn't up to snuff. Stibbe says last year police laid about 70 charges of drug-impaired driving in Toronto, many of those using a series of tests like these to make those determinations. And while C-46 aims to give officers more tools to detect drug use, people's tolerance levels, methods of consumption, and even metabolism rates could impact their actual level of impairments.
We need to keep in mind that how everybody reacts to that, what they consume, and what the officer is faced with will be unique on a case-by-case basis.
The Senate committee is expected to return to the issue sometime in May. In Liberty Village, Cristina Howorun, City News.